Hello BookTube, welcome back to my 2026 library tour. In this episode, the final part of my manga collection. Over the last few weeks, I have been taking you on a tour of my manga collection here in my bedroom, also known as the Little Manga Room. There are only two more series left to talk to you about on two shelves. This bookcase here that I've ended the tour on, I intended to be where I store my top 10 favorite manga series, although it's really only 8 favorites that can be put on here with a very short 9th series. One of the manga series that I'm going to talk to you about that I will show you is one of my favorites. The other one, not so much, but it fits in the space that remains. Anyway, let's get going. So first up is Black Clover by Yuki Tabata. Black Clover is a fantasy series set in a world in which pretty much everybody has magic except for one person, Asta. However, this does not stop Asta from dreaming of becoming the Wizard King, the most powerful wizard in the kingdom of Clover, who has authority over the magic knights. Sharing Asta's dream of becoming the Wizard King is his foster brother YuYu, who has been blessed with a tremendous amount of magic power. At the beginning of the series, the two receive their grimoires, or YuYu does, and he gets a very prominent grimoire. Meanwhile, Asta has to go through a bit more work before he also receives a special grimoire. This one gives him the ability to pull out an anti-magic sword. The two then proceed to join two different orders of magic knights. YuYu joining the Golden Dawn, and Asta joining the Black Bulls, who are a rather infamous and out there order of magic knights. And so from there, Asta and YuYu go on a number of adventures defending the kingdom of Clover from various threats. And threats escalate over the course of the series. I really love this series, particularly the relationship between Asta and YuYu. Normally when you have a rival relationship like this, it becomes toxic, with the not protagonist rival being usually a bit more villainous. But in this case, their rivalry is much healthier. And it's really fun to see YuYu when he shows up. So this is volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Volume 5. Volume 6. Volume 7. Volume 8. Volume 9. Volume 10. Volume 11. Volume 12. Volume 13. Volume 14. Volume 15. Volume 16, Volume 17, Volume 18, Volume 19, Volume 20, Volume 21, Volume 22, Volume 23, Volume 24, Volume 25, Volume 26, Volume 27, Volume 28, Volume 29, Volume 30, Volume 31, Volume 32, Volume 33, Volume 34, Volume 35, and the most recent volume, Volume 36. So, Black Clover initially published weekly in Weekly Shonen Jump. However, in 2023 or so, Yuki Tabata started to suffer some serious health issues, as well as other members of his family, and so the series went on, I think, an extended hiatus or something. And when the series returned, the series had been pulled from Weekly Shonen Jump and placed into a more seasonal or occasional magazine called Jump Giga, where how Black Clover releases now is there are 3 chapters released seasonally. So it's effectively a monthly series, but the releases are staggered so that they appear once a season, with the most recent batch of 3 chapters released last December. So that means that from volume 36, and I'm thinking probably it was actually this volume that started it, although it could have been 35. Black Clover releases are in volume form year or year and a half apart. In fact, from the release of volume 36 to the release of volume 37 in Japan, it was, I think, more than a year wait, but a year and a half wait. And I'm pretty sure the wait from volume 36 to volume 37 here in the US is going to be that long. I've already checked on Viz's website. They're the English language publisher of Black Clover, and their release calendar goes up to June currently, and there is no volume 37. So I'm thinking Black Clover volume 37 will probably release in either August or September, and I think after that, I did some checking earlier today, there's probably going to be 2 more volumes of Black Clover, unless volume 38 is extra big. But I think the chapters that have not been collected yet, there's enough for one volume, and then there'll be some extras. So I'm thinking there's probably going to be 39 volumes, and it will probably be another 2 or 3 years before those are released here in the US. So it will be a while before Black Clover is finished. But I still love it, even with the extended release schedule. So the last series on this shelf is YuYu Hakusho by Yoshihiro Togashi. This came out in the 90s and is about a young man named Yusuke Urameshi who is a teenage delinquent. At the beginning of the series, he rescues a young boy from being run over and is himself run over and killed. This death was not prophesied or fated, so Yusuke has the chance to come back from the dead if he performs certain tasks. Once he does so, he is appointed spirit detective, individual who is responsible for investigating supernatural on mortal crimes, or supernatural on supernatural crimes in the mortal world. Over the course of the series, he brings together a team of allies who go on different adventures with him, mostly involving tournaments. It's at times a pretty fun series. Yu Yu Hakusho is one of those series that I had some unfinished business with when I got back into manga. I read the end part of the Dark Tournament and all of Sensui 7 arc, and I think a bit of the Demon Realm arc, or Demon Tournament arc, before I kind of got out of manga, or I just didn't continue on with it. So when I got back into manga, I decided I'm going to read the entire series, which I did, and it's okay. It's not one of my favorites, and I'm largely putting the series here because it fits in the space, although I might switch things up now that I'm approaching the end of the manga portion of my library tour. So this is volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Volume 5. Volume 6. Volume 7. Volume 8. Volume 9. Volume 10. Volume 11. Volume 12. Volume 13. Volume 14. Volume 15. Volume 16. Volume 17. Volume 18. And the final volume, volume 19. Now, with Yu Yu Hakusho, I don't know necessarily if there were plans to expand the series further than the 19 volumes, and whether that was because it does end fairly abruptly, and I don't remember if it was on the part of Weekly Shonen Jump, who I think published the series in the 90s, or if it was Togashi's Health. After Yu Yu Hakusho, he has another very popular series called Hunter x Hunter, which has been plagued for the last 20 years by serious health issues on Togashi's part. So I'm not entirely sure how far back those health issues go. But this is the 19th and final volume. And with that, that concludes the manga portion of my library tour. I'm going to take the rest of the week off from the library tour, in part so that I can do some rearranging of my manga collection in this room. And I would also like to try to do something with my science fiction and fantasy collection, but that might be a bit more down the road. So, until I see you for the next part of the 2026 library tour, thank you, have a great rest of your day, and stay safe. And look forward to history, which will be the next part of the 2026 library tour. Until then, BookTube, thank you.